Welcome once again, my friends, and thank you for stopping by to listen to an old storyteller. Today we have a story from Turkey, and the title of this story is The Riddle. In those days there was a rich man. He had an only son, and the mother and the father loved him dearly. He went to school, and all that is in the world he learned it. One day he arose, took 4 or 5 purses of money. Here and there he squandered it. Early next morning he arose again and went to his father. "Give me more money." He got more money, arose, and went. By night he had spent it. Little by little he spent all the money. And early once more he arose and said to his father and mother, "I want some money." "My child, there is no money left. Do you like the stew pans? Take them, go and sell them and eat." He took them and sold them. In a day or two he had spent that. "I want some money." "My son, we have no money. Take the clothes, go sell them." In a day or two he had spent that money. He arose and went to his father. "I want some money." "My son, there is no money left us. If you like, sell the house." The lad took and sold the house. In a month he had spent the money. No money remained. "Father, I want some money." "My son, no riches remain to us. No house remains to us. If you like, take us to the slave market and sell us." The lad took and sold them. His mother and father said, "Come this way, that we may see you." The king bought the mother and father. With the money for his mother, the lad bought himself clothes, and with the money for his father, got a horse. 1 day, 2 days. The father and the mother looked for the son that comes not. They fell a-weeping. The king's servants saw them weeping, and they went and told it to the king. "Those whom you bought weep loudly." "Call them to me." The king called them. "Why are you weeping?" "We had a son, for him it is we weep." "Who are you, then?" asked the king. "We were not thus, my king. We had a son, he sold us, and we were weeping at his not coming to see us." Just as they were talking with the king, the lad arrived. The king set to, wrote a letter, gave it to him into his hand. "Carry this letter to such and such a place." In it the king wrote, "The lad bearing this letter, cut his throat the minute you get it." The lad put on his new clothes, mounted his horse, put the letter in his bosom, and took to the road. He rode a long way. He was dying of thirst. And suddenly he sees a well. "How may I get the water to drink? I will fasten this letter and lower it into the well, and moisten my mouth a bit." He lowered it, drew it up, and squeezed it into his mouth. "Let's see what this letter contains." The letter said, "The minute he delivers the letter, cut his throat." The lad stood there, fair mesmerized. In a certain place there was a king's daughter. They go to propound a riddle to her. If she guesses it, she will cut off his head, and if she cannot, he will marry the maiden. The lad arose and went back to the king's palace. "What are you come for, my lad?" "I would speak with the king's daughter." "Speak with her you shall. If she guesses your riddle, she will cut off your head, and if she cannot, you will get the maiden." "That's what I come for." He sat down in front of the maiden. The maiden said, "Tell me your riddle." The lad said, "My mother I wore her, my father I rode him. From my death I drank water." The maiden looked in her book, could not find it. "Grant me 3-day respite." "I grant it to you," said the lad. The lad arose, went to an inn, and went to sleep there. The maiden saw she could not find it out. The maiden set to, and had an underground passage made to the place where the lad lies sleeping. At night the maiden arose, went to him, took the lad in her arms. I am thine, thou art mine, only tell me the riddle. Not likely should I tell you. Strip yourself, said the lad to the maiden, and the maiden stripped herself. Tell me it. Then he told her. The maiden clapped her hands. Her servants came, took the maiden, and let her go. The maiden was wearing the lad's sark, and the lad was wearing the maiden's. And day broke. They summoned the lad. The lad mounted his horse and rode to the palace. The people see the lad. 'Tis a pity, they'll kill him. He went up and stood face to face with the king. My daughter has guessed your riddle, said the king. How did she guess it, my king? At night when I was asleep, there came a bird to my breast. I caught it, I killed it, and I cooked it. Just as I was going to eat it, it flew away. The king said, Kill him, he's wandering. I am not wandering, my king. I told your daughter the riddle. Your daughter had an underground passage made, and she came to where I was sleeping, came to my arms. I caught her, I stripped her, I took her to my bosom. I told her the riddle. She clapped her hands, and her servants came and took her. And if you don't believe me, I am wearing her sark, and she is wearing mine. The king saw that it was true, and in 40 days and 40 nights they made a marriage. He took the maiden and went back and bought his father and his mother. Thank you once again for listening to this story. If you enjoyed this story, please press that like button. Also, please help an old storyteller out by subscribing to my channel. The next story will be posted in a few days, so until then, may your story continue to be a good one.